So, for context, my wife, let's call her Lena, and I have been married for 8 years. No kids. We met in college, bonded over a mutual love of late-night diner food and obscure sci-fi movies. She was sharp, funny, and had a bit of a bite to her, which, at the time, I found refreshing. Fast forward to now, and that bite has turned into a full-blown venomous streak. But I'll get to that. Lately, things have been weird. You know how you just know something's off, even if you can't quite put your finger on it? That gut-level hum of something's not right. Lena had gotten distant. Phone always face down, lots of girls' nights that left her hungover and cranky, and a sudden, almost comical interest in fitness. Like new yoga pants every week, overnight transition to kale smoothies, and long jogs that suspiciously ended nowhere near our actual neighborhood. I didn't want to be that guy, the insecure husband reading into every new habit. But the little things started piling up. The way she'd get defensive over nothing. The fake laugh she saved for someone texting her after midnight. That feeling in the pit of my stomach that maybe I wasn't just being paranoid. Turns out, I wasn't. The moment I found out wasn't dramatic. It wasn't some grand discovery with lipstick on a collar or a guy sprinting out the back door. It was boring, honestly. Pathetic, even. Lena had gone to work and, like usual, left her laptop open on the dining table. We share a Netflix account and a grocery list, but otherwise, we keep our digital lives separate. I'd never snooped before, never even had the urge. But that day, something told me to look. Maybe it was intuition. Maybe it was just that the damn screen lit up with a message from someone named Derek W. Jim. Right there. Bold font. iMessage. Who the hell labels a contact with Jim, unless they're trying to make it look innocent? Curiosity got the better of me. I clicked. First message I see? Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about the way you pulled my hair. I felt my stomach drop so hard I thought I was gonna throw up on the carpet. My hands were shaking. I scrolled up, praying it was some inside joke. Maybe she was texting a friend about some Netflix show? Some joke from her trashy book club? But nah, it was exactly what it looked like. A full thread of messages, dates, hotel names, selfies I had definitely not taken, and a message from her that said, "Don't worry, he's so clueless. Still thinks I'm going to hot yoga." Well, she was half right. So I sat there, just staring at the screen. Honestly, I didn't even feel angry yet. It was more like my brain short-circuited. You know that numb, out-of-body feeling you get when something slams into your life sideways. That. I read the whole thread like it was a script from a movie I didn't audition for. She'd been seeing this Derek guy for at least 2 months. Met him at the gym, obviously. Apparently, spotting someone on a bench press can turn into full-blown adultery if you let it simmer long enough. She even complained about me in those texts, said I was too easygoing, and never challenged her emotionally. That one stung more than the rest, weirdly. Like, I'd always taken pride in being a calm, steady guy. Never the yeller, never the drama maker. Guess that translated to boring husband in her little fantasy world. Anyway, the messages ended with her saying she was getting close to telling me, and that she wanted out before it got messy. Spoiler alert, Lena, it's already messy. I closed the laptop, sat on the couch, and just sat there. For hours. Didn't cry. Didn't scream. Just stared at the wall and realized my marriage was already over. I just hadn't been informed yet. She got home around 6 that night, same as always. Dropped her gym bag by the door, kicked off her shoes, and gave me that routine, distracted, "Hey babe," without even looking up from her phone. Real poetic timing. I didn't say anything right away. Just watched her move around the kitchen like she hadn't been screwing Derek W. Jim on her lunch breaks. She poured herself a glass of wine, Malbec, of course, because Chardonnay was for basic bitches, her words, and leaned against the counter scrolling Instagram. Then I hit her with it. "So, who's Derek?" She froze. Didn't even try to fake it. Didn't ask Derek who. Didn't laugh or call me paranoid. Just froze like a raccoon caught in the trash can. Her first move was textbook. Denial. "W, what are you talking about?" "I read your messages." Still nothing. Just a blank stare like her brain was buffering. Then came the outrage. "You went through my messages? Are you kidding me? That's such a violation." I cut her off. Don't even start with the privacy speech. You weren't journaling in there, Lena. You were planning your next motel visit. Her whole face changed. Like she aged 10 years in 10 seconds. Then came the tears. Big, messy, performative tears. I didn't mean for it to happen. I was lonely. You don't even see me anymore. Ah, there it is, the OL, you made me cheat defense. Classic. I didn't say anything. Just let her cry and twist herself into whatever narrative she needed to believe to sleep at night. She kept talking. Lies layered on top of half-truths. Said it was just physical, then said she caught feelings, then said she was going to end it. Hell, she even said she did it for us, like getting railed by a stranger was some kind of marital tune-up. I went to bed on the couch that night. Not because she kicked me out. Because I couldn't stomach sleeping next to a woman who smelled like someone else's cologne. The next morning was eerily quiet. You know when a house just feels off? Like the walls know something you don't want to admit? That was us. She didn't go to work. Called in sick, though I doubt HR has a checkbox for a broke husband's spirit with repeated infidelity. I got up early, showered, made coffee like a robot on autopilot. She tried to sit across from me like it was a normal Tuesday, eyes puffy, wearing that oversized hoodie I bought her 3 anniversaries ago. I didn't say a word, just drank my coffee and stared into it like it might have the answers. She eventually broke the silence with, "We should talk." I nodded, but I wasn't ready. Not really. So she talked. A lot. Said she felt invisible in the relationship. That Derek made her feel alive and wanted and seen. Told me I'd become too focused on work, on routine, on comfort. Like stability was a crime. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. Because deep down, I knew the truth. She hadn't just fallen into this affair by accident. She climbed the ladder to it, rung by rung, and pulled the door shut behind her. And yet, there was a part of me, some bruised, stupid corner of my heart, that still wanted her to choose me again. It's a weird thing, love. Makes you a sucker long after common sense has left the building. Later that day, I did what any confused, emotionally steamrolled man does. I reached out to a few close friends. My buddy Nate, who's basically allergic to emotion but loyal as hell, gave me the blunt version. She disrespected you, man. You walk away, head up, dignity intact. Then there was James, who tried to play therapist. Maybe it's salvageable, bro. People make mistakes. You just gotta ask yourself what you want. What I wanted. Hell, I didn't even know what I was feeling, let alone what I wanted. Every emotion was tangled up like a bunch of headphones shoved in a drawer. Anger, heartbreak, confusion, resentment, and under all that, the dumb, flickering hope that maybe this wasn't the death blow. Just a warning shot. Lena, for her part, had flipped into full PR crisis mode. Texting me throughout the day, apologizing, over-apologizing. At one point she actually said, maybe this is what we needed to shake things up. Yeah, nothing says, refresh the marriage like an unsolicited side of adultery. She wanted to talk again that night. Said we should go to couples therapy. That she was willing to do whatever it takes. Said she'd block Derek, quit the gym, give me access to her phone. Hell, she even offered to delete social media. Said she just didn't want to lose me. And for a second, I believed her. But then I remembered the text, "He's so clueless." That didn't sound like someone who was lost or broken or accidentally swept up. That sounded like someone who thought she was getting away with it. I asked her to show me the rest of her messages. Full transparency, right? She hesitated. Big red flag number 489. Then she handed me the phone. But the thread with Derek? Gone. Oh, I deleted it yesterday, she said, voice barely above a whisper, because I didn't want to obsess over it, and because I didn't want you to see it and get hurt. Classic. Delete the crime scene, then cry about the damage. I asked her, straight up, did you sleep with him more than once? She didn't answer. Just stared at the floor like it was about to give her a cheat code. So I asked again, slower this time. Finally, she muttered, 3 times. 3. Not once. Not even, we got carried away, and it just happened. No, she RSVP'd to this affair. Made time for it. Packed a bag for it. Maybe even wore that perfume I bought her for our anniversary while she was on her way to bang some meathead named Derek who spells gym like it's a personality trait. She tried to follow it with another apology, but by that point I was miles away mentally. Sitting in that chair, but already imagining a life without her in it. It was wild how fast love can rot when truth finally shines a light on it. That night, sleep wasn't even an option. I laid in bed, our bed, staring at the ceiling while she snored next to me like she hadn't detonated our life just 48 hours ago. The sheer audacity of her comfort was infuriating. I started retracing all the recent weirdness. Times she was too tired for sex, or suddenly on edge because of work. Her sudden bursts of emotional distance followed by fake affection. The unprompted guilt trips about me working too much or not being present. Turns out, all of that was groundwork. Distraction. Smoke. Then it hit me. Derek wasn't the first. I don't have proof, but the pattern was too obvious now. The gym guy was just the one that left a digital footprint. I remembered a guy named Scott from her office 2 years ago. She used to gush about how funny he was, how they grabbed lunch every week, how he gets me, you know? At the time, I laughed it off. Now, I felt like a damn fool. The worst part wasn't just the cheating. It was the long game of manipulation, the lies layered like bricks until the truth couldn't breathe. She didn't just cheat on me. She built a whole alternate reality where I was the oblivious husband, the stable placeholder in her life, while she played make-believe with side characters. I realized then, the woman I married wasn't the woman sleeping in that bed, and I needed to figure out what the hell I was going to do about it. By the next day, I'd passed the denial phase. I was out of shock, beyond sadness, and firmly planted in that raw, bitter clarity where you stop second-guessing yourself and start thinking straight. I told Lena I needed space. She panicked. Immediately. Started rattling off promises, counseling, cutting contact, moving, selling the house, name it. It was like watching someone try to put out a house fire with a water bottle. I didn't yell, didn't cry. I just said, I need to be alone for a bit to figure out if I even want to fix this. She didn't like that answer. Suddenly the tears dried up and out came the claws. Accused me of punishing her, withholding love, said I was acting holier than thou like I'd never made mistakes. The gaslight tour came through town in full force. I calmly told her, this isn't about punishment. It's about truth. And I've just had the truth slammed into my face hard enough to knock the wind out of my future. You don't bounce back from that overnight. She stormed out. I didn't stop her. That night, I sat alone in the house. I walked into every room and really looked at what we'd built. The photos, the furniture, the kitchen table she picked out after 3 arguments and 1 IKEA meltdown. And then I asked myself a brutal question. Even if she never cheated again, would I ever trust her again? The answer came fast. No. Over the next few days, I started mentally untangling my life from hers. Every object, every habit, every plan suddenly had the sharp edge to it. Like our entire marriage was retroactively contaminated. I drive past restaurants we loved and feel sick. Heard a song on the radio she used to sing in the shower and had to pull over just to breathe. Even the damn dog, who still adored her unconditionally, felt like a cruel reminder of how much I'd lost. But something else started creeping in too. Relief. I hadn't felt truly at peace in a long time. Not really. Not since before all the distance, before the secrecy. I just didn't realize how much emotional weight I'd been dragging behind me. And now that the dam had broken, I could feel a part of myself, this raw, honest version, finally standing up straight again. I started making lists. Not the emotional kind, practical ones. Bank accounts, lease options, divorce lawyers, therapy appointments. I wasn't rushing to file, but I wasn't playing dead either. Lena kept trying. Love bombs, guilt trips, desperate texts. One minute she was begging, the next she was blaming. It was exhausting. And yet, I stopped reacting. That was new. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't a power move. It was me finally understanding that I didn't have to carry the burden of her choices. A few nights later, Lena asked if we could talk. One last shot at clarity, she said. I agreed, not because I expected anything new, but because I needed to hear it all out loud. I needed to watch her try to justify what couldn't be justified. She sat across from me in our living room, the same place we'd laughed, fought, celebrated anniversaries, grieved family losses. And now? A war room. She said, I didn't plan for this to happen. Classic opener. Said she'd felt unappreciated. Said I didn't see her anymore. Said she just wanted to feel wanted. I let her finish. Then I asked the question I'd been holding in for weeks. Why didn't you just talk to me? Her face twisted, like I'd hit a nerve she wasn't expecting. Because I didn't want to hurt you, she said. I laughed. Honest to God laughed. One of those dry, bitter laughs that doesn't reach your eyes. You didn't want to hurt me, so you lied and cheated for months? She said she thought it would be harmless. That she thought she could keep both worlds running and eventually snap out of it. That right there, that's when I knew. She didn't just mess up. She calculated this. She compartmentalized and lied and twisted reality to suit her story. And if someone can do that once, they can do it again. I stood up, told her I'd be moving out for a while. Told her to take the time to get her story straight for herself, not for me. Because my story? I was already rewriting it without her. I moved out the following weekend. Just a rental, small, quiet, enough room for me and my sanity. Tossed a few clothes in a duffel, grabbed my laptop, my books, and left the rest behind. Felt like peeling a bandage off skin that never quite healed underneath. She cried when I left. Stood in the doorway, mascara running, wearing the hoodie I gave her on our 5th anniversary. She said she loved me. I didn't say it back. Not because I didn't feel it, but because love doesn't mean much if you keep burying it in lies. The first night alone was brutal. Not gonna sugarcoat it. The silence was thick. No clinking dishes, no footsteps upstairs, no passive-aggressive sighs from across the couch. Just the hum of the fridge and the occasional "what the hell happened" circling my brain like a broken record. But then something happened around day 3. I woke up, made coffee, opened the window, and just stood there, breathing. It was peaceful. It was mine. No pretending. No guessing games. Just me, the morning air, and the unfamiliar sensation of finally being honest with myself. I wasn't okay. Not yet. But I was getting there. And I knew this. No matter what Lena said, no matter what she promised, I deserved better than a love that came with fine print and hidden chapters. Even after I moved out, she kept texting. Photos of our dog curled up on the couch. Remember this place? Pictures from old vacations. Voice memos saying she missed the sound of my laugh. And the kicker? A message that read, "I've changed. I feel different. Losing you broke something in me. That one stuck with me longer than I'd like to admit. I'd always imagined she'd regret it. Fantasized that she'd hit rock bottom and realize I was the best thing she ever had. But when it actually happened, it felt hollow. Not satisfying. Not empowering. Just sad. She offered to do anything. Polygraph. Daily check-ins. She said she'd never even look at another man again if I came back. But it was too late. The version of me that would have clung to that guy was gone. He didn't survive the betrayal. He was buried somewhere between the deleted texts and the night she snuck out for a run. Every message from her felt like a ghost. Echoes from a past I couldn't return to without losing myself in the process. And slowly, the replies from me stopped. First, I took hours to respond. Then days. Eventually, I just didn't reply at all. Not because I wanted to punish her, but because I finally realized silence can be the loudest form of self-respect. Weeks turned into months. I settled into a rhythm, early mornings, long walks, cooking for one. Therapy helped. So did journaling, even if most of my pages looked like someone fought with a pen and lost. I started reconnecting with friends I'd lost touch with. Started saying yes to things I used to blow off. Trivia nights, road trips, even a weekend hiking trip where I almost got mauled by a squirrel and decided nature could calm down a little. And the strangest part? I felt lighter. Not happy all the time, not even close. But clearer. Grounded. Like I'd been wearing someone else's skin for years and finally stripped it off. Lena? She reached out one last time. Said she was letting go, that she hoped I found peace. I didn't reply. I just wished her well in my head and turned the page. Literally. I was reading again, something I hadn't done in years without feeling distracted. Some nights, I still wake up and instinctively reach across the bed. Old habits don't die easy. But I don't feel the same emptiness I used to. Just space. Quiet. And that's okay. There's healing in solitude when you stop fearing it. So here we are. If you've made it this far, thanks for reading my mess of a story. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I've learned a few things the hard way, and maybe they'll help someone else who's staring down the same darkness. First, trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. That voice in your head isn't paranoia, it's your intuition trying to keep you from walking off a cliff. Second, love doesn't mean sacrificing your self-respect. You can love someone with your whole heart and still walk away. In fact, sometimes walking away is the purest form of self-love there is. Third, people don't accidentally cheat. They make choices. And behind every slip-up is a pattern they chose not to change. Forgiveness is noble, but don't confuse it with submission. And finally, you're stronger than you think. I'm not the same guy who sat there reading those texts with his world falling apart. I've been broken, sure. But I've rebuilt slower, wiser, tougher. To anyone else going through betrayal right now, you're not crazy. You're not weak. And you sure as hell aren't alone. Get out if you need to. Stay if you believe it can be rebuilt. But whatever you do, make the choice for you, not for the illusion of the person who broke you.